My name is Keo Chance O'Neill, and I am being this Black boy. In turning 20, I think I've gained a lot of autonomy, like body autonomy, mind autonomy, and just being able to control who I am and having that control over myself. I feel like my entire life I've been told who I was and who I had to be, so for me, it was really having to, it's been a year, from 19 to 20, having to find out what 20 was gonna be like, and who I was gonna be at 20. So for me, it was not listening to everyone else around me and getting in tune with myself and trying to figure that out. At 19, I was pretty much surrounded by women. And it was more of a, what can we do to help you find out who you are? And so it was, no one was trying to lend their voice to my narrative, so to speak, but it was more of, how can we create a space in order for you to find out who you are? And I think that's what helped in pushing 19 to 20 and pushing that transition of myself over the year. I wouldn't have been able to come out as trans if I didn't have that safe space from women. Queer people naturally find safe spaces within women's spaces, and it's because they create it. They carve out spaces, so I don't have to. And it was easy to fall into that and navigate. In some instances, I do correct people. Sometimes I feel really outnumbered. And so it's hard. It's hard to make myself vulnerable in a lot of spaces, especially when I'm around a lot of men and they don't see me. And it's hard not passing, and that's a really big thing in the trans community, passing. And sometimes, like visually, I get he, but then I open my mouth and it's like, okay, she. And then so people make that connection. And so that's kind of hard, but it's also hard. In my sophomore year, I identified as non-binary, so my pronouns were they, them. And people just completely disregarded that. Like, that's not a thing, we're not gonna use that. And so that was really hard. But now, identifying as trans and being trans and going into my transition, it's really important to me that people use he, him, because she, her doesn't exist for me. It's not me. And going to Spelman and being in the AUC with a lot of Black people, they ignore it completely sometimes. And so it creates a lot of dysphoria, which is me being very uncomfortable in my body and not feeling connected with myself. And so when I hear she, her, it kind of just throws me off, like, who are you talking to? And then I realize, oh, it's me. So I try to correct people. It's not always the greatest situation for me, but I try to. I start on Tuesday, actually. Yes, I've been in therapy my whole life. I've always known I was trans. Is just coming to terms with it, and so I've been in therapy this year recently, and I finally went to the doctor. I've gotten like all of my checkups, all of the blood work done, and I start testosterone on Tuesday, and it's really, really exciting for me. This has been a 20-year journey of getting here, and I'm just excited. I'm ready to go. I've been ready to go, but it's just I needed to take the proper steps in getting here. To me, it's just, I can finally be the person I always was, but never could be. And taking testosterone, I am gonna be able to pass. I'm gonna be able to be the person that I see and that my girlfriend sees and that my friends see. It's been 20 years in the making, honestly. Like, thinking about it right now, it's just making me wanna cry. I've been looking forward to this since forever. I was just terrified of it. I was terrified. But now it's gonna be the greatest day of my life. When I talk about trans people, I don't use myself as a representation because I don't represent all trans people because I have insurance, I go to a therapist, I have doctors, and it's all covered. I can transition. But I'm in no way, shape, or form I'm not what a trans person looks like. Because a lot of people don't have resources, and a lot of people, the only way they can transition is wearing a binder and wearing big clothes, and that's their transition. And they're outed in a lot of spaces. And so when I'm talking to people about trans issues, for me, it's really being aware. Like for other people, you need to be aware and know who you're talking to and not assume gender, not assume pronouns. And when a trans person or gender non-conforming, non-binary person tells you their pronouns, you accept it. And it's hard. I misgender myself all the time. And then I'm like, wait, rewind, he. I misgender my best friend who is trans, and sometimes we have to laugh about it. And it's really hard for someone to go from one name, one pronoun to another name, another pronoun, but you have to catch on to it. You can't, it's not an excuse of, I just forgot. It's just easier it doesn't matter for you. It doesn't matter if it makes you uncomfortable, because imagine how that person is feeling. 20 times more uncomfortable. I've always wanted to keep my initials. Me and my older brother have the same initials, which are KCO. And I started going by K, K-A-Y-E, and that just isn't, I don't want that to be my legal name. So I started asking for suggestions on Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram, and I decided on Keo. Yes, K-E-O. It means God will increase. And my middle name is Chance, because I like that name and I like Chance the Rapper. And my last name, O'Neill. It's really weird hearing it from people, because I still introduce myself as K sometimes. And they're like, wait, I'm just kidding, my name's Keo. But like my friends, they're totally receptive of it. And like group chats I'm in, organizations I'm in, I just sent it like, hey guys, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm going by Keo, and it's super hard for me because for me, I don't think of my legal name anymore, but I still think K. And so to hear it from everyone else, and to hear it from my friends and like different people, or like the deans, like the dean of students, easily, like she picked up on it and she's like, okay, Keo. And it's weird, but it's nice because I'm getting comfortable with it now. The dean of students is amazing. She is the greatest person at Spelman College. When I came at the beginning of this year, I had spoken to her about, not about myself, but about queer issues on campus, just things that I thought that need to be started and initiated on campus. And then I told her I was trans, and she was completely receptive. He, him pronouns. She called me Kay, and then when I had changed to Keo, she called me Keo. She's amazing, and she got me, after my initial meeting with her, she got me a meeting with the president, and I got to sit down with the president and explain to her the issues that a lot of students, including myself, are having on campus, and what I think would be better and to making Spelman a safer place. The president hasn't been as receptive in getting things done. The dean is doing all that she can while trying to keep her job also, because I'm kind of a radical. Like, I kind of want to pull a Samuel L. Jackson and lock everybody in the room. But I'm trying to withhold on that, get my degree first. But yeah, I would say, as far as the only upper administration I talked to is the dean of students, and she's amazing so far. I'm trying to remember. This was all a blur. Honestly, I was ready to pass out. I can't believe I just told Alice Walker I was trans. She told me to gather my circles, and from those circles, we could create the change that we needed to see at Spelman. And if I wasn't seeing the change that I wanted to see, and I got kicked out, then to call her.